Oh, hello! Are you surprised to see a real person after clicking on this video? Were you expecting another one of those crappy, low-effort AI voiceover list videos about fascinating Chinese cars made by someone who's never been to China, let alone driven the cars they've instructed ChatGPT to talk about? Sorry to disappoint you, but I'm a real human flesh sack named Ethan, and as the host of the Wheelsboy channel, I've driven and reviewed hundreds of Chinese cars, and today I'm going to give you my top 5 Chinese electric SUVs of 2024.
Welcome to Wheelsboy, where we cover the newest, coolest, and wildest vehicles from the Chinese car market. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell.
Are you fascinated by the Chinese electric vehicles that we review here on the channel? Are you one of the people in the comments section of my videos who insists that I must be a paid shill because there's no way those Chinese EVs are anywhere near as good as they appear to be? If you answered yes to either of those questions, you are an ideal candidate for the Wheelsboy EV Tour. The Wheelsboy EV Tour is your opportunity to join us here in China to see, touch, and drive Chinese EVs instead of just looking at them through the screen of your device. You will get a guided tour of an international auto show from Wheelsboy host Ethan, aka me. At the show, you will get up close and hands-on with all of the coolest, newest debuts from Chinese brands. Even better, you will be getting behind the wheel of a fleet of Chinese EVs as we embark on a multi-day road trip to gorgeous Chinese landscapes. We've also got a few surprises thrown in just to make sure it's a once-in-a-lifetime experience. To learn more about any of these events, including pricing and dates, contact us at tour@wheelsboy.cn. Spots are filling up quickly, so do not wait. Reach out now. The criteria for this video is the same as our recent video about the top 5 Chinese EV sedans of 2024, which you should definitely go watch. First, in order for an SUV to qualify for this list, I have to have driven and reviewed it in the 2024 calendar year. Second, I have to have liked it. That's about it. All right, enough preamble. Let's talk about some sweet electric trucks, starting with number 5, the Ito M9. The M9 is a full-size, full-fat SUV from Huawei that comes with either pure electric or EREV powertrains, that's extended range electric vehicle. It's also an ultra-comfortable rolling movie theater thanks to its 32-inch drop-down rear screen and zero-gravity mode that tilts the rear seat and folds the front passenger seat under the dash for maximum legroom. And that's only on the right-hand rear seat, but all the seats in the first and second row have heating, cooling, and massaging. Being a Huawei product, it's also got their latest driver assistance tech, which is good, really good. Like as good or better than anything else on the market right now, including Tesla FSD. With all that said, I do have my reservations about the M9. For example, it looks like the world's most exhausted vehicle thanks to the huge bags under its eyes, and that rear screen, while perfect for showing off to your neighbor, is kind of a pain. Not only does it have to be controlled through a Huawei smartphone, clarity is also quite low in anything but pitch black night. There's a reason they don't put windows in movie theaters, folks. Besides the silly screen, which is optional, I think the M9 is a very impressive family hauler or executive transport, and the Chinese car buying public seems to agree. Despite the price of $64,000 to $78,000, which is a lot of money here in the Chinese car market, these things are selling like hotcakes. In November, the M9 outsold the similarly priced BMW X5 2-to-1. Something tells me the fine people in Bavaria could use a hug right now. I'm bringing things back down to earth for my next pick. Number 4 is the Geely Galaxy E5. The E5 is an affordable, all-electric compact SUV. How affordable? We're talking $15,000 to $20,000 USD for something with a claimed range of 440 to 530 kilometers on China's CLTC cycle. It's also right-sized, big enough to fit 4 to 5 people and their stuff, but small enough to be maneuverable in urban environments. I can't wait for the comments from our beloved European viewers telling me it's actually a massive monster of a car at 4.6 meters. Cut me some slack. I'm American. Anything smaller than a house is a compact SUV where I come from. The E5 is a direct competitor to the BYD Yuan Plus, aka Atto 3, that we've been using as our company car for almost 2 years now. The BYD has been great, but if I had to buy a car in this segment today, I'd probably go with the E5. It's got better tech, better looks, better range, and as a final bonus, it has an exterior speaker that can play music or even a lion's roar outside of the car. Useful? No, but everybody needs a little whimsy in their life. Next on our list is another Geely Group product, but it's here for a very different reason than the Galaxy E5. Number 3 is the Zeekr 7X. The 7X has pretty much everything I'd expect from a Chinese electric SUV in its segment. Interesting exterior styling, check. A high-tech cabin with premium appointments like heated, cooled, and massaging leather seats, check. Ridiculously powerful dual-motor powertrain and a 0 to 100 under 4 seconds, also check. Thing is, that's basically the required set of features if you're asking about 30 to 40,000 USD for an SUV in the Chinese market, and you can get it from any number of competitors, including, but not limited to, the IM LS6, Xpeng G6, Luxeed R7, Neo ES6, BYD Song-L and Sea Lion, Denza N7, Exceed ET, Hypetech HT, Voya Free, Robocar 01, and on and on. I was prepared to write off the 7X as yet another in a slew of Chinese EVs that tend to offer pretty much the same package. But then I got behind the wheel, and my overwhelming first impression was, this thing is way sportier than I expected. While not as comfortable as some of its competition, the 7X is certainly more fun to drive, thanks to direct steering and an available dual-chamber air suspension that keeps you flat in the corners without beating you up too much on rough roads. I don't suppose this should come as much of a surprise, as this shares a great deal of hardware with the Polestar 4 that I drove and loved early this year. Oh, it's also got an external speaker like the E5, but it doesn't roar like a lion. Otherwise, it might be even higher on this list. Swimming into the number 2 spot on our list is a car that represents the best of what BYD can do, the Wang U8. Let's be real, there's no way something that combines the space of an SUV with the power of a hypercar wasn't going to make it onto our list. Yeah, some people aren't sold on the styling, which combines a Range Rover with an LED store, but it's what's underneath that lands it the number 2 spot. Specifically, the E4 quad-motor extended range powertrain that makes 880 kilowatts or 1,200 horsepower, launching this SUV the size of a small moon to 100 kilometers per hour in just 3.6 seconds. Combine that same powertrain with rear steer, and you can execute tank turns. Instead of a run-of-the-mill air suspension, it uses a hydraulic suspension with adjustable height and stiffness. Not only does it make for a cushy ride over everything from speed bumps to small boulders, it can compensate for things like sudden tire blowouts. It's like the hydraulic system of the Citroën DS from the 1960s, only way smarter and more adjustable. Those aren't the things that earned it global internet fame, however. That would be the fact that it can swim. Once the U8 detects that it has entered deep water, it will automatically activate emergency float mode, which turns off the range extender and closes the air intakes and windows, but opens the sunroof, allowing for a quick exit. In this mode, the U8 can stay afloat for up to 30 minutes and move through the water at up to 3 kilometers per hour using the spinning of its wheels for propulsion and steering. I finally got to try out emergency float mode at this year's Guangzhou Auto Show, and it was honestly way less dramatic than you might expect, but still extremely cool. Before we move on to the top spot on our list, let's pause and talk about a couple of honorable mentions, starting with the Envo L60, a Tesla Model Y competitor from premium EV maker NIO. I drove the L60, and I quite liked it. The interior felt a bit more low-rent than a Tesla Model Y, which is saying something, but the technology and driving dynamics seem to be exactly what Chinese buyers are looking for. It also has some access to NIO's battery swapping network. I'm not prepared to say it will be knocking the Model Y out of first place on the sales charts, but I'm curious to see how many sales it can take away. The second honorable mention goes to an SUV that I absolutely love to hate, the M-Hero 917. If stolen valor was a vehicle, it would be the M-Hero 917, an SUV that looks like its purpose is invading other nations when the closest it will get to real conflict is bullying someone out of a parking space at the mall. If the exterior styling wasn't enough, it's also got Desert Eagle handguns for door handles, and you better believe that the door speakers emit the sound of a bullet entering the chamber of said handgun when they open or close. I drove the M-Hero in 2023, so it technically doesn't qualify for this list. I just never like to pass up the chance to make fun of it publicly. And now we come, finally, to the number 1 spot. I know a great many of you were expecting the Wang U8 to top this list for all the reasons I mentioned above. Heck, even I thought it would get the number 1 spot, right up until I drove the real winner, the Avatar 07. I swear I am not just courting controversy with this pick. I truly think the 07 was my favorite SUV of 2024. I've got some highly subjective reasons for this, like the styling, which I think looks futuristic and menacing at the same time, particularly in the stunning green paint job that I am officially calling my favorite color of the year. Not all of you agreed, with at least one person comparing the looks to, quote, melted cheese. Joke's on you, bro. I love melted cheese. I like the interior as well. I'm not wild about the dual-layer dashboard arrangement, but it's perfectly user-friendly and honestly looks really good. The center screen is big and easy to use, the materials are nice, and it just feels pleasant to be inside. Again, some of you disagreed, with people saying it looked impractical and describing the color as 70s bathroom, shrimp, and stomach turning. In person, it looks tan, just for the record. But those are the subjective reasons. There's plenty of more objective reasons that I've selected the 07, like the availability of both pure electric and extended range variants, with power levels ranging from more than enough to ridiculous. The range and charging aren't the best in its class, but they're perfectly fine. And you get a crazy list of features, like a 25-speaker Meridian sound system, as well as heated, cooled, and massaging seats with zero gravity mode in both front row seats, as standard on most trim levels. The driving dynamics aren't as sporty as the 7X, and of course I don't like the square wheel, but it's comfortable and competent enough to be a lovely commuter. Last but not least, it has the same Huawei Inside Driver Assistance system as the one that's available on the iTow M9. I never thought a driver assistance system would be a selling point for me until I used the one in the 07. I'm a strong skeptic of quote-unquote self-driving technology, and a strong believer that systems like this should be rolled out in a slow, measured way that ensures everyone's safety. However, I must admit that I was truly impressed by the system's ability to navigate complex road conditions with nearly the same confidence as an experienced driver. In fact, I'm going to take this opportunity to declare it the most impressive system I used in 2024, which is only fitting for my top SUV. There you have it, folks, my top 5 Chinese electric SUVs for this year. Please feel free to share your thoughts in the comments section below, and let me take this opportunity to thank you very, very much for your support throughout this year. We at Wheelsboy look forward to bringing you many, many more reviews of Chinese cars in 2025.